Do you ever feel like you just can't enjoy your downtime? You probably stumbled upon this video and it is a sign that you need to take a break. I came outside to get some sun, take a break from some chores. It is beautiful outside, the birds are chirping, it's been raining for days on end, but now my taskmaster brain is telling me that I should go and finish my dishes and my laundry and get ready for work and do everything except sit outside and just be. It's hard to turn off your brain sometimes. I know it's hard for me. And I just think about kids and how if you were a kid, especially in the early 90s, you used to be able to go outside and you didn't come home until the sun went down. And kids don't actually go outside to get their steps in or get fresh air because they've been sitting at a desk all day. They go outside to dig in the dirt, look for bugs, and chase other kids around with sticks. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and the little voice in the back of my head that's always telling me that I need to be productive. And I'm trying to find ways to ignore that voice, or to find at least a little bit of a balance. Something I want to encourage myself to do more is to not have to optimize or maximize every single second of the day. Free time is supposed to be free, which means I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. And it sometimes feels like even that needs to be scheduled, which is kind of ironic if you think about it. Like, why do we have to schedule our free time when it's supposed to be free time for us to just be and live and even do nothing? I also just feel like we live in like a productivity obsessed world right now. Everything has to be productive, everything has to be efficient, everything has to be optimized. And there is a time and a place for that, because I love productivity. There's a lot of habits and systems and trackers and stuff that I use that are really helpful. I just posted a April hobby tracker, which I share all about how I am able to make time for my hobbies in my regular life through the use of a tracker, and then just reminding myself of some of the important things that make habits stick, and that make hobbies stick as a habit, if that makes sense. So definitely go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. I don't understand why we're so obsessed with productivity. It's almost like it's frowned upon, or, oh, there's a lot of mosquitoes. People look at you like you're lazy if you say that you didn't really do anything over the weekend, or you were a couch potato, or you spent all your time watching television or scrolling on TikTok. And I think some of that is cultural, especially depending on where you live in the US. I know that up north, typically that feeling of hustle is a lot different than down south in the US. But I just think sometimes free time is free time. I think people look at time like confetti, or they look at their schedules like they've got to fill every single hour, every single minute with something. I know time blocking is a really popular like time management tool and process that people use, which is essentially in the same way that in finance you allocate every dollar to something. Time blocking is you allocate every minute of your time to something. And so that's what I mean by like scheduling your free time. That's an area where if you've got some downtime after your 9 to 5, then you're time blocking your free time, or time blocking your breaks in between, you're time blocking your lunch, stuff like that. And I actually am trying to embrace empty space on my calendar, or blanks, or whatever you want to call it. Just big chunks of time where there is actually nothing. And then I can choose how I want to spend the time, whether I want to actually fill that time with something, or whether I just want to sit outside. But the fact that a lot of people get anxious when they sit down to do anything, watch TV, scroll, read, write, that's something that we have to unlearn. And I'm trying to practice that too. We don't have to justify our existence through productivity. For example, a lot of times if I go to work out and I forget to turn on my Apple Watch to log the workout, then I'm upset. And it feels like I didn't even work out that day because I didn't start my watch. Even though I clearly did spend time in the gym or in Pilates or outside or whatever it is, it doesn't count because I didn't turn on my watch. Sometimes I find if I'm going for a walk then I need to be multitasking. So I can't just walk. I should be listening to a podcast while I'm walking, or catching up on the news. Or there is a very long list of people that I've been meaning to call for the past week that I haven't. So I should use this time to call them. Or I love reading, and audiobooks are something that I really enjoy. So while I'm walking, I should be listening to this book. And I think sometimes it's tough to balance everything, especially when you feel like you don't actually have time in your day for all of the things that you want to do. I think multitasking is great, and it is an awesome strategy, and there's a time and a place for that. But a lot of times I find myself writing down in my planner that I need to go outside because I haven't been outside all day. And the reason I want to go outside is to get fresh air, to get sun, and to just not be secluded in my house working by myself all day. None of that is really a fantastic reason to go outside. I think it's okay to tell myself that I can go outside without having to track my steps or my workout or call somebody or maximize my time or multitask. Being in the present moment actually makes us happier than being productive and efficient all the time. I really, really believe that. So I think that's something I'm trying to remind myself of. Like, when was the last time you did something without a purpose? When was the last time you just did something to do it without having to track it or log it or tell somebody that you finished it? I think that rest is probably the most productive thing that we can do. And I know the saying is so cliche, but you cannot pour into others if you don't pour into yourself. Again, very cliche, but I think that there really is something to that. People are not batteries, but if you think about the analogy of a battery, at some point it goes dead because it's lost its charge. And you've got to put, even your phone, you've got to put your phone on the charger again because your battery's at like 5%. And I think sometimes we forget that people are like that too, especially if you're introverted. In the same way that it's important that we set boundaries with other people, it's also important that we set boundaries with ourselves and with our time and how we spend it. There is a difference between rest and laziness. And I would actually argue sometimes there is a time and a place for laziness. Sometimes I need an entire day. It's typically Fridays after work when I'm on my sofa catching up on a TV show I've been meaning to watch. I recently started, I think it's season 5 of You with Penn Badgley. And for once I actually could enjoy it and pay attention to the show and be in the present moment and not have to worry about finishing something, because it helps me to tell myself there is nothing left to do. Even sometimes if I'm getting ready to go to bed and I think that I've done everything, my night routine is done, and then I turn out the lights and I'm expecting to just sleep, and I can't because I'm just thinking about all of the things that I didn't do, or all the things I didn't get to, or all the things that I'm gonna have to do tomorrow, or all the things that I should have done. My therapist always says, don't should on yourself, which I always think is really funny, but it's true. I think that is not helpful. That's not helpful thinking, and it's important to kind of reframe that when our brains get into that type of a mode. But in those moments when I'm just up late in the dark thinking about all the things that I should have done or I still need to do, then I typically tell myself there is nothing left to do. There's nothing left to do. There's nothing left to get done. And even if there is something left to get done, that's like the cue that my body and my brain need in order to just shut off and get some much needed rest, much needed sleep. I don't think that it is lazy to rest. And I don't think that taking breaks and having free time and not always scheduling your free time is lazy. Maybe this resonates with you, but I'm gonna really challenge myself to view time differently, spend time differently, and think about time differently. Time does not have a purpose. The only purpose of time is to pass, and it will pass regardless. So making sure that I'm being more revolutionary in this hustle culture, productivity obsessed world that we're in, and taking back some of that optimized time and making it whatever I want it to be. So obviously it is very sunny, but the sun is starting to set. Even right now, as I'm wrapping this up, I'm like, oh, I should go back inside and do blah, 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 blah. However, I'm gonna sit here in the sun and enjoy the big blue sky above me, There's a slight breeze, the birds are chirping, and that is my favorite sound in the entire world, is the chirping of birds. So I just want to sit and enjoy that for a second. And then I can go back to doing the things that I need to do. And I guarantee that I will feel better after that. Remember, you don't have to justify your existence through productivity. Your worth is not tied to your output. And if you're struggling with some of these thoughts, remember, don't should on yourself. And just go outside right now. Whatever you are doing right now, put it down. Take a break, turn it off. Go outside, get some fresh air. Do whatever it is that you have been wanting to do, but you haven't because you've been prioritizing all of the productive things that you think that you should be doing right now. I know I'm just going to sit here, enjoy the sun, and when I feel like going back inside, I will. So, just a couple thoughts on a Sunday Eve. Just things I've been thinking about lately, and honestly, it just randomly popped up as I was sitting here, and I just thought I would share, just in case it resonates with anybody else. It's definitely not what I had planned in my content schedule to post today, but that's okay. It's another one of those I should have posted blah, and instead I'm posting this, and instead of making myself feel bad about that, I am taking it all in stride. And even though technically this is my free time that I have multitasked into filming, I do think that it's just useful, and I can even watch this back at any point in time and remind myself of some of the things that we talked about, which are just going to be really important. As the weather continues to get nicer, I'm going to want to go on more walks, and just remembering that not everything needs to be tracked or put in a habit tracker, or I need to make progress. I can just go out and do things and enjoy it and then move on. We are going to overcome the constant need to be busy. Being busy is not a badge of honor. When somebody asks you, oh my God, how have you been? What have you been up to? Oh my God, I've been so busy. That's like a thing. That's like a thing that people say. But what does that actually mean? What have you been doing? It's not a badge of honor to say that you've just been busy hustling all the time. So just remember, rest is really important. It's pouring back into yourself. It is not a lazy thing to do. It's needed. It's important. So again, whatever it is that you're working on, put it down for a second and just go enjoy some free time. And the next time you find yourself needing to track or schedule something, just remind yourself it's not always necessary, and you do not have to optimize every second of your life. So hopefully that's helpful. Just little Sunday ramblings, and until next time, keep it cozy.